3 months after crossing the Red Sea, the Israelites camped in the desert at the foot of Mount Sinai. Moses climbed up the mountain where God spoke to him.
You have seen how I brought you out of Egypt. Tell the Israelites, if you obey me, out of all the nations I will make you my treasured people, a kingdom of priests and a holy nation.
Moses climbed back down the mountain to tell the leaders of the people, elders, what God had promised. Together they responded,
"We will do everything the Lord has said."
Moses climbed back up the mountain to give God their answer. God told Moses,
I am going to come to you in a thick cloud so the people will hear me speaking to you and will trust you.
Moses reported that the Israelites had said they were ready to fully obey God.
Tell the people to get ready to consecrate themselves today and tomorrow.
God commanded,
Have them wash their clothes and be ready by the third day because that's when I will come down.
God told Moses to put a limit around the mountain as anyone who touched it would die. Only when the ram's horn sounded a long blast could they approach the mountain. Moses gave everyone God's instructions. They washed their clothes and prepared to consecrate themselves to God. On the morning of the third day there was thunder and lightning and a thick cloud over the mountain. There was the sound of a loud trumpet blast and everyone trembled. Moses led the people to the foot of the mountain. The Lord descended onto Mount Sinai in fire. Smoke billowed up like a furnace and the whole mountain shook. The sound of the trumpet grew louder and louder. God called Moses to come to the top of the mountain.
Warn everyone to stay outside the limits around the mountain and set it apart as holy.
God told Moses.
Then return to the top of the mountain with Aaron.
Moses went down to warn everyone that the mountain was holy and they must not approach any closer. Then he and Aaron climbed back to the top. God then gave his laws for living to please him.
I am Jehovah thy God, who brought thee out of the land of Egypt,
says the American Standard Version.
You shall have no other gods before me. Don't make anything to be worshipped or bow down and worship anything but the Lord God. Don't misuse the name of your God. You are to work for 6 days, but the seventh day is a rest day set apart for God. Respect your father and mother so you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not tell lies. You shall not envy after anything belonging to someone else.
The people below remained at a safe distance, trembling with fear. God gave Moses more instructions to help them live at peace with him and each other. Moses wrote down God's laws and then told everyone what God had commanded.
We will do everything the Lord has said.
They all replied. The next morning Moses built an altar to God at the foot of the mountain. Young bulls were sacrificed and half of their blood was splashed on the altar with the rest put in bowls. Moses then read God's laws to everyone again. We will do everything the Lord has said, they promised. Moses then sprinkled the blood on them and said,
This is the blood of the agreement or covenant, what God has made with us.
Moses then led the leaders up the mountain where they saw God, but he spared their lives. Under God's feet was something that looked like a pavement of bright blue marble. The leaders ate and drank on the mountain. God then asked Moses to come to the top of the mountain on his own where he would write his commands on tablets of stone. Joshua, who had led the Israelites into battle, accompanied Moses halfway up Mount Sinai where he waited for him to return. The cloud covered the mountain for 6 days and then on the seventh God called to Moses. He went into the cloud where he stayed for 40 days and nights.